This is the story of a house that looked normal from the outside, but inside, it was ruled by silence, fear, and quiet suffering. Daniel was a black-faced husband, not just dark in appearance, but darker in thought. His eyes were always full of suspicion, and his heart carried poison instead of love. He was married to Sophia, a white-faced wife, fair in color, gentle in nature, and pure in soul. Sophia's face reflected her heart, soft, innocent, and full of hope. But that hope slowly began to fade after marriage. The first few months passed quietly. Daniel hid his real nature well. But with time, his suspicions started growing like a disease. Who were you talking to? Why was your phone switched off? Why did you come home late? Sophia answered every question honestly, but Daniel never trusted her. He believed that no woman could be loyal. Daniel drank alcohol regularly. He would return home late at night, drunk, his eyes red, his words sharp, and his hands cruel. Sophia would quietly warm the food, but many nights she wasn't allowed to eat. You don't deserve food. Daniel would shout and throw the plate against the wall. Days passed when Sophia stayed hungry from morning till night. Her body grew weaker, but Daniel didn't care. The most painful truth was this: Daniel himself was having affairs. Women from clubs, random strangers, and secret relationships, all were part of Daniel's life. He lived in filth but accused his wife of betrayal. One night, Sophia gathered courage and said softly, "Daniel, I belong only to you. Please trust me." Daniel laughed, a laugh that hurt more than words. "Women like you are never trustworthy." Then his hand rose. A loud slap. Sophia fell to the floor. Her ears rang, her vision blurred. But Daniel didn't stop. Another slap. Then a kick. That night, for the first time, Sophia thought, maybe my life has no value. In the morning, blue bruises covered her face. She wrapped her scarf tightly so the world wouldn't see the truth. The neighbors said, "Daniel is strict, but he's a man." No one ever asked Sophia, "Are you okay?" Daniel drank every day. Every day the house became a battlefield. Sometimes over food, sometimes over nothing. One evening, Daniel came home late again. His clothes smelled of alcohol, and there was lipstick on his collar. Sophia said nothing, but Daniel was angry anyway. "Why are you silent? What are you hiding?" Sophia replied quietly, "I'm tired, Daniel." That single sentence ignited his rage. He raised his hand again. This time, Sophia didn't hide her face. She looked straight into his eyes. There was fear, but also something new. Strength. Daniel paused for a second, but his cruelty won. That night, Sophia slept on the floor, hungry, in pain, crying silently. She remembered her mother's words. Daughters are taught patience. But no one teaches that. Patience also has a limit. Sophia was no longer just a woman living in a house. She had become a living silence. Her eyes no longer filled with tears easily, because even crying gets exhausted when pain becomes routine. Daniel's cruelty increased with every passing day. Sometimes he accused her of talking to someone. Sometimes he blamed her for waking up late. Sometimes he shouted because the food was not perfect. The truth was simple. Daniel only needed excuses, to shout, to hit, to release the anger of his filthy life. One morning, Daniel came home drunk. He had spent the whole night with another woman. Sophia had been awake all night, waiting. She controlled herself and quietly brought him a glass of water. Daniel looked at the glass and laughed loudly. "Are you trying to poison me?" He said mockingly. Sophia's body trembled. "It's just water, Daniel." Those words became her crime. Daniel threw the glass at her face. The glass shattered. Water and broken pieces fell to the floor. A sharp piece of glass cut her foot. Blood began to flow. Daniel didn't even look at her wound. He kept shouting, "Women like you are all cheaters." That day, Daniel locked Sophia inside a room. No food, no water, no mercy. Outside, the door was closed. Inside, Sophia struggled to breathe. She sat against the wall, hugging her knees. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind. "Be strong like a son." But no one ever taught her that raising your voice against injustice is also strength. In the evening, Daniel left again. Alcohol, women, laughter. Inside the house, Sophia was fighting hunger and fear. That night, she fainted. When Daniel returned late, he didn't care. He didn't check on her. He simply went to his room and slept. A witness appears. The next morning, the neighbor, Mrs. Linda, came to ask for some water. The door was open. She stepped inside and froze. Sophia was lying on the floor, pale, weak, barely conscious. "Oh my God! What happened to you, my child?" Mrs. Linda cried. Sophia opened her eyes slightly. "Water, please." Mrs. Linda rushed to give her water and then confronted Daniel. For the first time, someone looked Daniel in the eyes and said, "This is abuse. She is your wife, not your slave." Daniel exploded with anger. "You have no right to interfere." But that day, something changed. Mrs. Linda told the neighbors. People came, looked, whispered, and then did what society often does. It's a husband and wife matter. Family issues should stay inside the home. Men get angry sometimes. Sophia heard every word. Each sentence wounded her more than Daniel's hands ever did. That night, Sophia made a decision. Either she would die slowly every day, or she would stand up for her life. Daniel no longer even tried to hide his affairs. He talked on the phone openly. He laughed with other women in front of Sophia. He compared her with them. "They are better than you. No one would even look at you." Sophia stayed silent, but inside her, something broken was rebuilding itself. Courage. One night, Daniel returned drunk again and raised his hand. For the first time, Sophia grabbed his wrist. Daniel froze. "Enough," she said. Her voice was shaking, but her decision was firm. "Enough, Daniel." Daniel pulled his hand free and slapped her hard. "You'll stop me." Sophia fell to the ground, but this time she didn't cry. She looked at him and said quietly, "Either I will die, or the world will know the truth about you." Daniel laughed. He believed she would never dare. But cruelty always underestimates courage. That night, Sophia made her final decision. Her body was bruised, her heart exhausted, but her spirit was finally awake. While Daniel slept deeply under the effect of alcohol, Sophia quietly packed a small bag. Inside it were not just clothes. There were proofs. Photos of bruises, voice recordings of threats, screenshots of Daniel's affairs, videos of his drunken violence. These were not memories anymore. They were weapons of truth. Before sunrise, Sophia walked out of the house. For the first time, she did not look back. A step toward freedom. Sophia went straight to Mrs. Linda's house. When Linda saw her standing at the door, weak but determined, tears filled her eyes. "My child, you stayed silent for too long," she said, hugging Sophia tightly. That same day, Sophia called the Women's Protection Helpline. Going to the police station was terrifying, but staying silent was more dangerous. At first, the officer asked routine questions. Is this a family issue? Can it be settled? But when Sophia placed the evidence on the table, the room fell silent. Medical reports were prepared. Her statement was recorded. A legal case was filed. For the first time, Daniel's power began to shake. The fall of a cruel man. When Daniel received the police notice, he laughed. "She can't do anything," he said confidently. "I'm the man." But that confidence shattered when he saw media cameras outside the courthouse. The women he once used, the affairs he thought were secret, were now witnesses. One by one, they spoke.